Welcome to week 3 of college football on Fantasy Points with your boy Rick Kamla. Let's get right to work and let's go to Boulder where Deion Sanders, his son Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and the Buffs are going to stay undefeated against the spread. I am laying the 23 DraftKings number on Colorado to wallop Colorado State on Saturday night. Deion has the Buffs rolling, okay? They're 2-0 against the spread thanks to a 45-42 gut check win at TCU and a 36-14 victory over Nebraska last week, in which they struggled in the first half and then opened it up with 23 second-half points. Colorado State has played one game, losing 50-24 at home to Washington State, who loves to air it out with quarterback Cameron Ward and a talented group of wide receivers. Sound familiar? Pretty much the exact same scenario in Colorado. Deion is going to hit 50 for the first time in his major college football coaching career. Shedeur Sanders is going to tilt the machine against a defense that allowed Cameron Ward to throw for 451 yards and 3 touchdowns, again, scoring 50 in that game. Coach Prime has amassed, in my opinion, the best collection of wide receivers in the country. Xavier Weaver, he was huge last week. 16, 288, 1 score. Jimmy Horn Jr., 19 for 181. Travis Hunter, 14 for 192. Washington has a great 3-wide set. I don't think they're better than these guys right here. This is a 10 p.m. Eastern kick in Boulder against their in-state rivals. It is going to be a Buffalo Avalanche, and it is going to be an electric scene at Boulder. Risk 2 units to win 1 unit on the Buffs minus 23 against Colorado State. Louisville minus 10 DraftKings number against Indiana in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium, okay? This is another best bet. This is not a fair fight. Louisville is a talented football team. Their players flash all over the field on both sides of the ball. I've seen Indiana play. They're not a talented football team. It looks like their guys are stuck in mud when the other guys are on skates, okay? The Cardinals are 2-0 on the strength of beating Georgia Tech 39-34 and Murray State last week 56-0. It's a good body of work because outside of a bad second quarter against Georgia Tech, when the Ramblin' Wreck went off for 28 points, the LV defense has been pitching basically a perfect game. Tavon Jackson, who transferred over from Tennessee, is going to be the new starting quarterback for Indiana, okay? And he will be fresh meat for Louisville's playmakers. Jackson completed 1 of 5 passes against Ohio State, and then last week threw for 236, no touchdowns against FCS Indiana State. Not good. Transfer quarterback Jack Plummer and his new weapons are going to shred the Indiana defense that returns 2 starters from a year ago. Louisville wide receiver Jamari Thrash is a beast. He has 10 catches for 170 and 3 scores already on the season, and we will see him in the NFL one day. He transferred to Louisville to climb the NFL draft charts, and so far so good with that. Jawar Jordan is the new lead back for the Cardinals, and he is TNT out of that backfield. 16.5 yards per carry, 231 with 3 scores so far. He is getting it done. And then when you talk about Jeff Brom and the rankings, right, Louisville is getting votes in the coaches poll. They're not getting votes in the AP poll. I bet you their coach Jeff Brom is reminding them of that. And I think on a neutral field, Louisville is going to go for some style points here against Indiana and really rack up the score to try to get in the top 25. Risk 1.5 units to win 1 on Louisville minus 10 against Indiana. Washington minus 16 at Michigan State. Again, DraftKings number. Michael Penix Jr. is an awesome deep ball passer. And in my opinion, he's got the second best collection of wide receivers with Jalen McMillan, Rome Odunze, and Jalen Polk, their third guy. Jack Westover's a terrific tight end as well. All 4 players have gotten busy so far this year. The Michigan State defense has limited Central Michigan and Richmond to a combined 21 points. But neither team has a solid quarterback, so you kind of flush those stats, right? The Spartans are about to face a team that throws the ball 40-plus times per game. They have not seen anything like this. It's a colossal step up in class for the Michigan State defense, and I don't think they're going to pass this test. Washington has blown out Boise State 56-19 and Tulsa 43-10. And I believe now it's the Spartans' turn to get lit up in East Lansing. Risk 1 unit to win 1 unit on Michigan State minus 16. Washington minus 16 at Michigan State. Western Kentucky plus 29 DraftKings number at Ohio State. Ohio State has played 2 games, and they have looked good for a grand total of 2 quarters, all right? flush the entire ugly win at Indiana when quarterback Kyle McCord threw for 239 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. 23-3, one of the worst games I've seen all year. And I blame McCord. McCord and the nation's top receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., got busy in the first half last week against Youngstown State. 7 connections, 160 yards, 2 scores. Cool. Do it again against somebody that matters, okay? McCord and Harrison are going to have success against Western Kentucky. There's no doubt about it. They have allowed 23 points per game against South Florida and Houston Baptist, okay? But I'm rolling with the Western Kentucky Air Raid and their quarterback, Austin Reed, who has thrown for 589 yards and 6 scores, completing almost 68% so far this year. Last year, went for almost 4,800 passing yards and 40 touchdowns. He is a prolific college quarterback. You can't just shut him down and he's going to do nothing. He is going to put some points on the board, even at the Horseshoe against Ohio State. And they've got a great wide receiver, Malachi Corley. He had 101 catches last year. He is going to be heavily targeted against the overrated Buckeyes. I would risk 1 unit to win 1 unit on Western Kentucky plus 29 at Ohio State. And one more for you. I've got another upset. I've got Georgia Tech plus 18, DraftKings number at Mississippi. New head coach Brent Key for Georgia Tech actually has brought some talent to this club. Georgia Tech, don't think of the old boring Paul Johnson team or the lame team with Jeff Collins. They actually have offensive talent now, okay? Haynes King comes over for Texas A&M. He's been fantastic, completing almost 66%, 603 yards, 7 touchdowns so far in 2 games. Really good. He has formed a nice connection with Malik Rutherford, 10 grabs, 145 yards. Transfer Chase Lane. He's already caught a touchdown from Haynes King, and that's going to translate in what should be a high-scoring game here at Ole Miss. The Georgia Tech running backs have been fantastic. Jamal Haynes, 222 total yards. Trey Cooley, 206 total yards and 4 touchdowns. They'll be ready to move the chains against Ole Miss. Tulane backup, Kai Horton last week put 20 on the board against Ole Miss, all right? And Tech has a lot more skill player talent than the Green Wave. Tech is going to score well into the 20s in this game at Ole Miss. We know the Ole Miss offense is going to score and rock and roll, especially at home. But I believe the Yellow Jackets have the horses this year to at least maintain contact and cover the spread at Ole Miss. Risk 1 unit to win 1 unit on this one. And good luck with your bets. I'm Rick Kamla, and we'll see you soon right here on Fantasy Points.